Hey everybody, Todd and Juana are here. And so there's some breaking news that just came out. President-elect Joe Biden says one of the first things he's going to do is he's going to extend the rent moratorium, which expires at the end of January, till the end of September. It's
Okay.
so national rent moratorium. So what does that mean? What does that mean for them?
So that's a good question. What does that mean? How does he have the power to do that at the state level? Because generally speaking, evictions are conducted at the local level, not at the federal level. So the whole implementation issue will have to be something that the states will have to deal with and the local jurisdictions will have to deal with. We don't really know what that looks like in the real world for real people, both on the landlord side and the renter side.
Okay, so this is actually happening right now. You live in rural Arkansas. You didn't pay your rent. Some sheriff knocks on your door and throws you out. He doesn't really he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to just let you stay there. What recourse? What should somebody do? What should they do? Other than they should contact an attorney, right? But what should they do? Someone knocks on your door and says, "I'm throwing you out for non-payment of rent."
Right. So the first thing that you have to figure out is what's going on in your particular jurisdiction. So you start out with your city, your county, your state, because there may be things in there to that prevent your landlord from throwing you out. For example, in Nevada, you can't be evicted for non-payment of rent, but you can be evicted for nuisance because your lease has expired. So there are all kinds of reasons why you can be evicted. And then you're talking about the federal level. Under the Trump administration, there were several different things that took place. So if the landlord's loan was federally backed, then they couldn't throw you out. There was also provision from the Department of Health and Human Services that, it's a pandemic and that poses a health risk, so you can't evict people under that either. So there were all kinds of different rules at the federal level. So if we're talking about something that President-elect Biden puts out, it's going to be open for interpretation how that actually pertains to you in your particular situation. The first stop is obviously first at your local level, state, and then contact an attorney, and then contact the federal government, particularly if you're in a state that you think doesn't have local protection, so the only protection you have is at the federal level, then contact your state senator, contact your congressperson, because they would know who to reach out to that would actually offer you the greatest protection under these circumstances.
So what about a landlord? So you're a landlord and you're getting ready you just bought a house you're going to rent out. You've got that tenant shows up, and now you're saying, wait a minute, so if I put this tenant in there, they may move in and then say I can't pay rent until September, right?
That's possible, yes.
It's possible. So what are some things landlords tactically are doing that someone might see?
Right.
When they show up to their, rent a house.
Yeah, so this is a really good point. So as a landlord, how do you try to mitigate and navigate this whole new world where you cannot evict tenants for non-payment of rent? So you can do a few things. You can increase the security deposit, check with your state as to what's allowed. A lot of states say that you cannot charge a security deposit that is greater than 3 months' rent. So check with your state and see what's allowed.
Yep.
The other thing that you can do is you can ask for prepayment of rent. So maybe you can ask for a greater security deposit, and maybe you can ask for several months worth of rent in advance. And this rent is earned by you as the tenant remains in the property, but it is not necessarily paid out to you. So maybe it's held in an escrow account or a separate account, depending on what your situation is. So, for example, if you say, well, look, I want 2 months worth of security deposit and I want 3 months worth of rent up front, but that 3 months worth of rent, the first month goes the first month's rent, but the other 2 months go to the last 2 months, so you still need to pay me rent all the way along. So there are all kinds of ways that you can structure this. Figure out what works in your state, because remember, we have 50 states, lots of different jurisdictions, and everybody has different rules.
And remember, none of this is legal advice. We're just talking in general based on what's been reported. And this is why. When you go to your attorney and say, hey, what are the laws? They'll tell you what the laws are, but remember, they change every day because the federal government comes out and then HUD makes a bunch of rules. So everyone's making all these rules. And what's happening in smaller areas is that constables are just still evicting people. Like, it's still happening. They're getting evicted. And then the people don't even know. Like, how would a person know there's a rent moratorium, right? They maybe don't know. The other thing that's supposedly happened, there's this $1.9 trillion stimulus being proposed, and there's more money for rent to help people pay rent. The problem is there's money already being allocated for rent, and people don't know how to get it. And they keep saying, hey, I come watching these videos on YouTube, but no one is telling me, like in my state. And that's because there's 50 states, there's 50 different ways you can get it. The states have been given money. And then the states go through this super long process to figure out how to do it. It's bureaucracy, it takes forever, right?
Right. So, but the one thing you can count on is that your state treasurer's office knows how to get you the money. So those
they should.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the people at first contact. Because remember, the state treasurer's office, they're the ones who actually get the money from the federal government. So they would be the ones who know how to disperse it to you. They may not be the ones who actually disperse it, but they are going to be able to help you navigate how to get to the money. Whether you're a landlord or a tenant, there is money out there for you from the federal government. There is money out there for you to get. Please contact your state treasurers. They're all going to love me. Please contact your state treasurers. They know how to get you the money. I know that the lines are long if you're on hold for them, if you're calling them. You can try emailing them. If you're still not getting through, contact your state representatives from your particular district, wherever you are, and they might be able to give you some help. But again, the people with the money, those are your state treasurers. They're the ones who are actually coordinating that in your state.
Yeah, and we're going to try to keep you as up to date as we can. This is moving very quickly. The rules are changing very quickly. This was just announced like an hour ago, so we got as much information as we could, but of course it's all general information because that's what usually comes down. None of this is legal advice. You have to go figure out in your state, in your county, in your city, in your town, in your area, whatever it is, what the rules are for you. We know a lot of you that are landlords are stressed because you're not collecting rent potentially, and then you can't evict. And then we know some of you tenants are stressed because you don't have income and you're worried about getting thrown out. Maybe your lease is ending too, and you possibly can be thrown out. And then maybe how do you rent another place if you don't have a security deposit or something, right?
Right. So the thing that you have to remember is that the unemployment compensation that you are receiving is still income. So when you go to rent a new place, you can put down your unemployment compensation as your source of income. So it's not like you don't have any source of income when you go to rent a place. So that is something to kind of keep in mind if you are having to relocate from your present rental situation. That is something that certainly landlords are going to look at because they understand that the federal government is going to keep this gravy train of unemployment going for forever and a day at this point because of this whole situation that we're in. So I think that's a pretty steady stream of income, and if that is sufficient combined with maybe other streams of income that you have or savings or something else, that might actually work out for you and you might be able to qualify to rent a place.
Anyway, if we get more information, we'll let you know, obviously. We just wanted to update you and let you know as of today, which is the 14th of January, 2021, what the going thing was. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And that way, when we do find out more specific information, we make a video, you'll be able to be aware. And thanks for tuning in.
Hit the notification bell and give us your comments, give us your questions, give us your feedback. Tell us what's going on in your state. We want to know. We want to hear from you.